And we are live. We have Brenna in the building, and we also have our guest, just being me, Miss Erica. Hi, you ladies. How you doing today?
Great, great.
Are y'all ready for this conversation?
I'm ready. Let's get into it.
I'm ready.
Okay, so I did want to talk about, do most women fake pleasure in the bedroom? Um, and we're gonna talk some truth here today. So thank you both of you for joining me today. And let's get started. Everybody, welcome back to Real Chill Conversations. We're back on live today, and it's your girl, Dominique, Miss Brenna, and Miss Erica. So I'm
Hello.
Just being
introducing
me.
everybody to
Hey.
you all. And we're talking about something that a lot of people think about, I would say, sometimes. And a lot of people have their own opinion on this topic, but I think very few decide to actually have a conversation with their partner about it. So now, before we get started, I need everyone to understand this is Real Chill Conversations is a judgment free zone. So we're not here to judge anybody's relationship or how you manage your relationship or just judge you as a person. That's not what we're here for. And we're not here to bash men nor women. Okay. We're here to have a real conversation. So let's talk about it because, to be honest, there's a lot of things people fake in relationships. Am I right?
Correct.
Hello.
Yes, yes, yes. You are right. Um, mhm. I took
So,
a couple of days to think about this topic, so you
and
are
and
absolutely
you know
right.
what? Sometimes we fake even being okay in a relationship, or we fake happiness, how happy we are in a relationship. Sometimes we can fake forgiveness. Sometimes we can fake trust. So again, today I want to ask a question that might make some people uncomfortable. Do most women fake pleasure in the bedroom, and why? We'll start with you, Brenda.
All right. Well, thinking about this topic, thinking about personal experiences, thinking about conversations I've had with girlfriends, over the years and through the years, just discussing different relationship ups and downs between being single and dating, having a significant other, having a partner, to being in a marriage. I don't think that there are many women that can honestly say they have not ever had an experience where they've faked it in the bedroom. And there's some reasons behind that. I know people are like, like, why would you fake it? Like, that's not doing yourself any favors. But you have to think about, the ins and outs and the delicacies of a relationship. And when you're dealing with someone and you guys have really polar opposite personalities and ways of thinking of things, like sometimes you just want to avoid conflict, okay? And sometimes you think that, previously when we got into it, we had a problem. And we went to, the bedroom to work it out with our AKA, makeup sex that kind of took care of everything and kind of put a band-aid and a fix on us being upset with each other. We got to put it to the side for a minute and feel good once again. But maybe because you're so emotionally connected and you're still tied to the issue at hand that's bothering you, you can't reach that level of you actually reaching your heightened excitement, your climax. So to get through it and to get it over with, you fake it. And I think that that's happened. I think that there's not many women out there that can say they haven't been in that position. That's just my opinion, though. Just mine.
So you're saying that
Good.
basically
That's good.
some people don't want to hurt their partner's feelings sometimes.
Yes. I think sometimes they don't want to hurt their partner's feelings. I think they think that maybe because in the past the makeup sex worked and like, well, hey, maybe why don't we try to, do that again just to get out of this state of conflict because nobody wants to be in a relationship that's in a constant state of conflict. You guys are constantly bickering, arguing back and forth over the little things and you're starting to feel disconnected and all of that. But maybe in the past, what has worked for you, since you were never really able to successfully talk out the issues, because maybe you didn't seek the
Yes.
help of a therapist, of a counselor, you take it out in the bedroom. And, you have what we all call makeup sex, right? Maybe that worked for you in the past. But what I'm saying is maybe because the woman is so still emotionally connected to the conflict, that's preventing her from getting there. So to get through that moment and to get it over with, she fakes it. And she does so and doesn't tell her partner that she's faked it. She just pretends like everything is good and rolls over, says goodnight and goes to bed.
Whew.
That's good.
Miss Erica?
I said that's good. I piggyback on Miss Brina. Do most women fake pleasure? And I thought about the topic, and my answer, along with thinking about my past relationships and other people's perspective, I wanted to say yes, we do. Most men don't know because we're not telling the truth. And I wanted to dig more into why women fake pleasure. I wanted to, the same thing. What's the reason why do most women fake pleasure? And I came up with a couple of reasons. One of them was men ego can be affected by it. So we try to protect their feelings. A lot of women try to protect men's feelings, and that's not being helpful, but we do. And most women are afraid or uncomfortable letting their man know. And we're not as forthcoming as we should be. And this was very important that I thought about. A lot of women growing up, we're not taught how to have pleasurable sex. A lot of times growing up, we're taught to have safe sex or no sex until marriage.
Ooh, that's a
So,
good one.
yeah. So not being taught how to have pleasurable sex, that rolls into when you are having sex, and then we teach each other. We everybody teach from learning from talking to other people, or some people grew up watching porn, and you know what porn is? That's acting. So we believe what we enjoy is what we see. So some people go into acting and moaning and doing all the extra, and it's just faking. It's not being honest and transparent, but I 100% believe once we communicate with our spouse and let each other know what we like and what we don't like, that will enhance our relationship and make it better. So we have to find out why we do that. Why do women fake pleasing their man? And
I
then one
have
more
some
point. Go
comments.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead. You have some
We
comments? Okay.
we have some comments in the
Mhm.
building.
Listen.
um King Catney said, I know Dominique ain't faking it. If you are a student of her body, you won't fail that test. I don't care how mad she is. And then we have when I was 19, sex was for me, maybe, but this grown thing be hitting. I had to move your comment because I couldn't see it because of the dollar sign. But yeah, um, well, I have before, actually. Yeah, I have. Um, yeah, I have faked it before, just being honest. And a lot of people don't feel comfortable speaking up about what they need in relationships. I feel like that those are one of the conversations where you kind of hold back sometimes because you don't know what that other person is going to say. And like Miss Erica said, is sometimes w- we don't want to hurt anyone's ego, and especially because some men do have a very big ego as well.
Mhm.
So it comes to those situations that we may feel like, okay, I don't want to hurt his feelings. Of course, what Brenna said. Um, I actually, let me take this out because I did do a research on the survey. Y'all know I'm going to bring y'all that. Um, so, survey research suggests that yes, many women have faked an orgasm at least once. Studies found that roughly about 50% to
Oh,
70% of women report having faked it at least some point in their lives. Why? I'm going to give y'all that too, because I did my research on that too. Number one, not wanting to hurt their partner's feelings. Brenna mentioned that, wanting the encounter to end. Brenna mentioned that too.
yeah,
Just get it over with.
right.
That's what we mean. Just get it over with. Um, Feeling pressure to orgasm.
Mhm.
Um, Wanting a partner to feel confident, Miss Erica. Um, Difficulty reaching orgasm despite enjoying the experience. And that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a real good
I think
one.
that's a really good one, and that really piggybacks on what Miss Erica was talking about. How, as women, we're not really taught how to enjoy sex. We're just
Mhm.
taught birth control, safe
Mhm.
sex, no
Yes.
sex. And then
Right.
you think that, sex is there for the man and not necessarily for the woman. But the
Woman.
woman is just as equally entitled to pleasure as the man is. And the best relationships that I've been in that have been sexually successful have been the ones where the man is really putting my needs, wants, desires, and how do I like it first, and making sure that I'm taken care of. And I've had, some selfish experiences with partners that didn't really care. They were just all about, theirs, and it didn't matter if I had an orgasm or not. So I could have faked it the whole time and they would have had no idea, or really been like, oh yeah, I really did that. And it's like, no, 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 you really didn't. Sorry. Sorry to tell you.
And
And
some
Miss
people
Brina,
are
imagine,
emotionally I feel
oh,
like some people are emotionally disconnected too.
I agree.
That's big. I think the emotional disconnection for me interferes with my ability to have an orgasm. If I'm emotionally disconnected and I'm upset about something, it's really, really hard for me to put that to the side and just take a moment to enjoy. I'm not saying all the time, but I don't now, like in my present, I'm not faking anything. Like if I don't get there, then I just don't get there. And I've, other options are offered to me to help me get to that point. And I'm like, yeah, let's just do that.
I agree. If you're not in the same mindset, like if you're not in that mindset, anything could be going on in your life. Sometimes, you fake it to rush it. You want to hurry up and get it over with because you're just not in the right mindset at that moment. It can have nothing to do with him or anything. It's just that something is going on in your life, you know. It could be financial, it could be other things, and then you're trying to have sex and your mind is not there. And imagine a lot of people who never had an orgasm, or a tiny percentage of the time. Some women don't even know what an orgasm is. So, that plays part of it too.
Yeah, to go years and not know what you
Hmm.
haven't been experiencing, and then to finally like reach that point, you're like, oh my goodness. I had no idea.
Agreed.
I didn't know. So, yeah.
And society
Yeah.
has taught, I think, has really, in a way, taught women that it's easier to pretend and tell the truth. Um, when it comes to stuff like that, when it comes to behind the bedroom. Someone said, oh no, King Cadney said, I faked it once, but
Yeah,
I had to go and couldn't finish.
I was trying to quit.
He wasn't trying to quit.
He wasn't trying to quit.
My soldier wanted to keep marching.
Marching. Someone said never had one.
Yeah, I want y'all to think about that. Ladies, we want to hear from you. Honestly, have you ever felt like you couldn't speak up about what you wanted in a relationship? I know I heard this interview, and she was like, she really appreciated when her partner actually sat down with her and actually asked her, was she being pleased in bed? Would you appreciate your man more if that was the case? Because I know some men don't talk about it, but what if he did talk about it? And what if he told you, are you being pleased? Am I pleasing you? Are you finishing? Because I don't just want to be pleased myself. I want to please you as well.
I would love
Would
that.
you?
Me too.
Yeah.
Transparent.
Hello. Yeah, I think that would be fair, very fair. Ask me what I like. Maybe if I tell you, I know sometimes it could sound kind of crazy because you're like trying to kind of like perform this out in a
Right.
situation that just happens. But communication is really everything. It's really everything.
That's the key point. Communication.
I think
Talk to
this,
you.
and with that being mentioned, I really think the topic is like a lot bigger than just a bedroom. It
Hmm.
has, again, a lot to do with communication in a
Hmm.
relationship. I think it's about feeling safe enough with your partner where you can, both of you all can speak truth to each other. I want to know if I'm doing something wrong. I do, because I know what to do next time or what not to do, or what you like. I want to make sure that I'm pleasing you the right way. I don't think I would get offended. Would you?
No, I would,
No.
I'm always open to constructive criticism, and I mean, keeping the lines of communication open is what helps keep your relationship healthy and strong. So if you can't, like I said, if you can't talk it out, then you're never gonna really able to get through anything and to get past anything, which is gonna put, an expiration date on your relationship, because you can't carry on like that, for years and years and years and years and years and years to come. I mean, you might be 10, 15 years in with somebody, but you want
But
to
you want
spend
to.
another 10, 15 years going into it, and you're not satisfied, and they're not satisfied, and neither one of you has communicated that neither of you are really satisfied at the end of the day.
No, and I've heard, you'll be surprised because I've heard people like just be through with a relationship because of the behind the bedroom scene
Hmm.
situation. And they'll be like, oh, it ain't even good.
It was trash.
It's
Yeah,
trash. You
when
know what I'm saying? I'll be like, damn,
you're
like
mad. I agree. I was about to
it.
say that because if you don't talk about it, you build up that frustration, and then it comes out the wrong way.
Yep.
And
And maybe let's not be so scripted, like, actually talking about it. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, what if, like, while you're in action, talking about it then? Like, do this, like, or
Right.
do that or turn this way or
Right. Take
I
control.
think
Yeah.
that's a good way to do it too.
Yeah.
Walk me through
And when
it.
they're doing something right, let them know,
Let
yes,
them know.
yeah, you were right where you need to be, sir. Continue.
Like let them know. Hey, baby, when you kiss my neck, that's the spot right there.
Right there, right there. Don't move.
Yeah, giving positive feedback. I think
Right.
join is just as important as sitting down and having a conversation, or if you're riding in the car somewhere and you guys are just talking and whatever. I think at a different setting and a different environment, when you're actually in the moment, I think that speaks volumes to this the status of your relationship. You're able to actually talk through it in that moment, which is great.
And I think when people don't feel safe, being honest, they start pretending. And
Hmm.
it's starting to become a performance instead of the real thing.
That's exactly what I said. Acting, a
Yeah,
performance.
acting. Yeah.
Hmm.
Like you
Yeah,
said.
completely performative, just for
Hmm.
show.
So maybe the real question here is why do we feel like we have to play fake pleasure?
Again, I'll piggyback because maybe we wasn't taught how to please. We didn't have those conversations. I know I didn't growing up.
I didn't. Oh,
Right.
I did not. I don't remember
Yeah,
those.
I don't remember those either. I remember getting, books on like, your body and your body
Hmm.
changing and like going through the change and, getting your cycle and things like that. Like this is
Exactly.
what you do with this, and this is what you do with that. And, birth control. If you think you're reaching it near that point, we can have that conversation. And I was like, oh my God, no,
Oh my
and
God. You're
condoms and,
scaring me. That's
that's
right. No one talks to you
You're
about
scaring me.
safe
but
sex.
nobody was like, this is what you need, this is what you need to do. Like once you start forming these, friendships, and then you meet somebody that has like a women's toy line, side business, and then she has one of these parties, and you go to the party and you learn all these tips and tricks, and you're like, oh,
Teach me more.
I learned a
Right.
lot from that little event. Let me host one myself
You
so
know
I can
what? Those
learn some
parties
more.
come in handy.
They
Right.
do.
They
You do
really
learn a
do.
lot.
Little tips and tricks and the little creams and lotions and
Hmm.
oils and the candle. I mean,
And getting the
all
mood
kinds of
right.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the little outfits and lingerie and like all the different things, because nobody teaches you, growing up how to be sexy for your significant other. But who teaches you how to be sexy? Who sits you down and is like, okay, girl,
Right.
this is how you do
Let's
it when
do
you want
it.
to be sexy for your man. Nobody there is no class in school. We don't learn that when we get to high school. We don't learn it in college. You just have to be out in the real world actually doing it and experiencing it, unless you go to like maybe a specialized sex education class, or if you were to reach out to a sex therapist. Now
Right.
that counseling and people's mental health is such a positive forward topic, and counseling and therapy is not such a off limits conversation and discussion. I mean, there's plenty of sex therapists and all these like dating shows and reality shows that have these consultants come in, and there's this show Married at First Sight, and there's a whole sex therapist that like gives the newlyweds like a first night kid and games to play, and
Hmm.
questions to ask their partner, like what do you like and what don't you like, and she gives them games and things to try. We don't learn those things. So
No. And that's
the
good.
younger ages, maybe it was trash because I didn't know what I was doing, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, was doing the best that I could with what I
What
had
I
and what
know.
I knew. But as I gained more information and was able to apply it and see that I was getting a much better reaction and response. And I was like, okay, like this, I must be on the right track. But yeah, starting out, no, there's no guide, there's no class, there's no instructions. Nobody tells you what you're supposed to do.
I
You're
would
right.
say, I saw a comment where it said that another reason why is because some men they their orgasm is like, well, sorry, um, our orgasm is delayed because some men get too quickly.
Oh, that.
I was
Mm.
trying not. I be forgetting we on live and we on camera, so we have to be careful what we say a little bit.
That.
We don't want to
Okay.
get strike too fast.
Right. I was looking at King's comment. He said, "What games y'all like?" And one of them is role playing. That's
Yeah,
that's fun, you know.
it
Yes.
is
Role
fun.
playing, you know, that helps open up and communicate because now you can get into another role playing, and if you kind of scared, you can kind of get into that role play and really be honest and let somebody know, "Hey, tonight I'm Keisha. This
Uh-huh.
is what Keisha want."
Right.
And tomorrow, somebody else.
Yep. There's a game that I learned from watching one of the shows. It's hot and cold, and basically your partner just has to pick different pleasure points like on your body, and then you need to respond like hot or cold, and you let them know like when they're getting hotter, when they're cold, and then they gotta, move on and try something else. So I mean, I thought that was, it was kind of cute, especially if you're in your early stages of your sexual involvement with someone and you're in that, getting started phase. That's a good starter to break out.
Yeah.
But,
Do you
those,
think do you think flicks work?
um,
Um, it depends.
yeah, I think it depends.
I mean, that goes back to what I was saying earlier. You know, we didn't talk about it. And if they had what we doing now, if people could be openly and talk about sex, we didn't have to just learn from watching a flick. I know, like, that don't really tell you anything but how to please a man. But being in your mature age and watching, you know, certain flicks with your significant other, it just depends, you know, what that couple is into, I guess.
Hmm,
Yep.
that's true. Okay, hotter code sounds fun.
It is. It
Hot,
is.
hot, cold, cold.
Hot, 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 hot. Yes, hot. Fire.
Any final thoughts?
I mean, I would just say, as I've moved out of the early phases of my adulthood, being a young adult and not knowing any better. I really didn't know how to use my voice to speak up for myself and to really differentiate, what I liked and what I didn't like. I just kind of like went along with it. Like whatever he did, okay, I guess this is cool, but
Mhm.
ultimately realizing like, nah, I don't really like it like that. I just would not be afraid to speak up and to be honest, about what's working for me and what's not, or like, let me show you the next time that we're, in an intimate moment. Let me show you, what I like. I
Mhm.
would certainly take advantage of that
Mhm.
opportunity, but it's something that I wish I knew, at a younger age. And I have boys. I don't have girls. So, with my sons and in my conversations with them, I mean, they're not really at that real active stage, but just with them, in their little girlfriends and things that they have, I always, teach them to make sure that they're not being selfish, that they're always being considerate, of her needs and her wants, and really making sure that they understand, yes means yes and no means no, stop means stop. And, just teaching them those kinds of things, because there was a lot of young boys that I fooled around with that didn't really understand those parameters. And it made for some uncomfortable situations that I didn't really understand and could comprehend at the time, because, like I said, nobody talked to me about what it should be, like what it should be and what it shouldn't be. So I would just say, if we could start earlier with educating our young ladies, that would certainly, put us in a much better position as we get on into our next stages of life.
That's
I
good.
like that. Miss Erica, did you have anything? Your final words?
Yes, I agree. Communication and finding a safe spot for people to talk about sex. I think that will help when people know that, hey, it's okay to ask questions and feel comfortable without being judged, in a safe spot to ask. Because again, I didn't have that growing up. So being mature and at my age and having daughters, you know, ask questions, because I want you to know. I don't want you to go out there and think that you're not getting satisfied and the man is just doing everything and you're following his lead. It's okay to speak up. It's okay to let someone know what you like and what you don't like. It's okay to be transparent. It's okay to say no. I'm not in the mood, but you don't have to fake it. You got to put yourself first, because if you don't speak up and make that decision, what you're going to do is let someone make that decision for you. That's my final thought.
I like that. At the end of the day, healthy relationships, aren't built in assumptions, just assuming things. And like you said, they are built in communication, trust, and I guess you could say the courage to say the truth, even if it's uncomfortable. And I think I've been learning throughout the years, because in my younger years, I was not so comfortable to speak about certain things. But as I got older, I started to open my mind more, as well as my mouth. So now I say things that back then I probably would have never. But I like that, because it's actually helping in a lot of aspects of my life, especially, of course, on the podcast, for itself. Um, you can't fix what no one is talking about. So I want y'all to remember that you can't fix anything in your relationship if you're not talking about it. So that's why most relationships, like, we be like, okay, it's whatever, and whatever it is, whatever. But sometimes we let go of good connections by saying it is what it is, whatever, instead of communicating and opening up to your partner. And so keep having hard conversations, keep learning from each other, create spaces where honesty feels safe for the both of you, you as well as him, because you have to remember, it's not all about us, it's also about the man as well. So, yeah, real
Yeah,
conversations and real connections.
Absolutely.
love
Yeah.
it.
All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next Sunday. Thank you so much for those of you who tuned in today. And thank you, King Cagney, for your comments and building a conversation with us tonight.
Mhm.
Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a good day.
All
Thank
right. Bye,
you.
y'all.
Bye.
Night.